What's up people, welcome back to Internash. If you have been following this channel for a while now, you would know that I came to Australia as an international student. After studying for 2 years, I applied for my temporary residency, and during my temporary residency, I worked full-time as a digital marketing coordinator, and that was required if I wanted to apply for my permanent residency, and that's how I got my permanent residency. But all this while, what I really wanted to do was to grow and build my startup. But I couldn't do because working full-time in marketing was the requirement that I needed to meet with in order to apply for my permanent residency. And if I wanted to apply for Entrepreneurship Visa, I needed to raise $200,000. Now, in recent news, the requirement to raise $200,000 is gone. And Australia is looking for entrepreneurs from almost all across the world. So if you're somebody who wants to come to Australia and have a startup idea or an actual startup and you would like to grow and scale in Australia, then this video is just for you. So check it out. So first, let's talk about what is Entrepreneurship Visa. According to Home Affairs website, an Entrepreneurship Visa is for startup and early stage entrepreneurs who have been endorsed to develop their concepts and been nominated by a state or territory government agency. Now I understand that that is slightly confusing. Let me break that down for you. So if you are an entrepreneur or you have a startup and you want to come to Australia and build and scale that up, you need to be endorsed by one of the authorized partners. One of that is Stone & Chalk, where we are sitting right now. This visa, the subclass is 188E. E stands for Entrepreneurship Stream and is a 5-year visa. In this visa, you'll also be eligible to get your partner, if you have one, or one of the eligible family members. And within this 5 years, after 3 years, you can also apply for the permanent residency visa. Adelaide and South Australia is one of the first states to introduce this visa and bring entrepreneurs from all across the world. And one of the bodies that endorses startups is Stone & Chalk. So today we have Christian with us who reviews and endorses startups who apply to Stone & Chalk to come to Australia. So let's ask a couple of questions to Christian. Thanks, Christian, for doing this. It's really good to have you answer the questions that I had and the audience may have. And let's dive right into it. The first question is, what do you look for when you endorse a startup?
Yeah, absolutely. Great question. What we look for are dedicated entrepreneurs that solve a serious problem using technology. It could be a software backbone to an existing industry. It could be a software as a service solution. It could be cloud technology in basically any industry. We especially get excited about elements like machine learning, or the space industry, cybersecurity, and these things. But like I said, it could be any industry because, as you know, software is eating the world. So what we look for are entrepreneurs that are energetic, that want to be part of this community here in Adelaide and build their globally scalable companies from here.
I love that. So let's say I have a promising startup idea, but I haven't made a lot of progress yet. Can I apply for this?
Absolutely. Pitch your idea to us. It could be very, very early stage. You have thought about it deeply for a while. You have done your research. You've sort of outlined the steps that you can take or you need to take in the next couple of years in order to get somewhere meaningful, like how much money you might need to raise, but it could be very, very early stage. So ideation stage, basically.
Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, and as you mentioned, Adelaide and South Australia, there are a couple of organizations that can endorse. Why do you think someone should apply to Stone & Chalk?
Absolutely, great question. Again, Stone & Chalk is Australia's largest dedicated startup and scale-up community. We have hubs in Sydney, Melbourne, and Adelaide across. We're going to be opening more across Australia. That's 850 residents right now who in the last 6 years have raised raised a total of $1 billion in funding from investors. That comes with 85 mentors that are associated with Stone and Chalk, about 120 investors that are part of our investor network. So that is a community that gives you access to all these resources. And we're the only one who do this all across Australia.
I love that. Yeah, and I can vouch for it, because even when I was living in Melbourne, I was associated with Stone and Chalk, and after coming to Adelaide, I was like, oh, where's Stone and Chalk, and what's happening in the startup ecosystem here, and including events and everything, right?
Yeah. So here in that precinct where we're located, Lot 14 is sort of, think of it as the center of gravity of innovation precincts in Adelaide and even Australia, because we have the Australian Space Agency is adjacent to us, as one of our neighbors, the Australian Space Discovery Centre. The Australian Institute of Machine Learning is in the building next door. And in this building that we're in here, we have 250 Stone and Chalkers crunching away and working on their startup.
I love that. Yeah, thanks for giving those numbers. It gives us, I think, more perspective of who we are applying with. Also, I had last super important question that I have gotten a lot, is that we say that Entrepreneurship Visa has a pathway towards permanent residency. How does that work?
Yeah, absolutely. It's very important. And me being a migrant myself, it was very important to me to look for those criteria. So pathway to permanent residency means that this visa that you're applying for here now is a provisional visa that after 5 years qualifies you to apply for the next level visa, which is a permanent residency visa. So you can actually, in fact, you can already apply after 3 years. There's a couple of criteria to meet, such as you still need to be a resident in South Australia, you still need to be associated with Stone and Chalk, but that's all very easy to meet, those criteria, and then you can be endorsed for the next level visa, or you might in fact choose other visa options.
Yeah, I love that. Thanks for sharing that. I'm sure that would help. That has helped me, and that will help a lot of our people.
Absolutely.
Now, that was super helpful, but one of the questions that I had was that if I have an early stage startup which is not making revenue, how am I going to survive in Australia? So what are my working rights here in Australia? And the answer to that is that you have full-time working rights. But obviously it is expected that because, let's say, Stone and Chalk is endorsing you, you will stay associated with Stone and Chalk and keep working on your startup, because at the end of the day, you're on the entrepreneurship visa. But if the question is, will you be able to survive by working, let's say, a part-time job? The answer is yes, you can do that, but also work on your startup. Well, I hope that answers all your questions about Entrepreneurship Visa. If you have any questions, write it in the comment section. If you want to apply for this visa, I have given a link in the description below. You'll be able to read more about this visa and apply for 188E visa and actually come to Australia and pursue your startup. Hope this video was helpful. If you haven't hit the subscribe button, hit the subscribe button, turn on the notification bell. If you haven't liked this video, like this video and share this video with all your entrepreneur friends. See you in the next video.